What's up, everybody? Another NXT in the wraps, another day going down. Welcome to the BodySlam.net NXT post show with your boy Throwback and the head of the table. I'm going to stir the pot. And the co-champion of the Wicked Crazy Pinfalls.
Oh, don't do that to
The
me.
head of the Wicked Crazy Pinfalls table, Drew Nicholas. I'm going to do what Shane Husky did. I'm going to be turning around doing laps. Here we go. Doing laps. I gotta have some fun here. I mean, the show for tonight was it was kind of a little bit of this.
It sucked. Let's just be real about that. I'm not gonna try and be, like a sour grap for BodySlam, but I don't see myself enjoying the show week to week. So, I'll try my best. There was one spot tonight that ruled that I loved. We'll get to that, but that was like the only thing that I actually cared about on the show. Everything else was just there.
It was more so like for me watching it. I wrote notes for. By the way, because of everything, I did write a ton of notes from last week from spring break and I never got to use it. So I mean that's perfectly fine. But what I have to say is they literally have two callbacks coming up, like in the next few weeks. One of them they finished tonight with this whole Natalya and Cora Jade thing.
Yeah.
Hopeful. And then
in
now you have
way, which we'll also talk
about.
about.
The Viking Raiders coming back the next week. You have, Braun Breaker and Joe Gacy coming back up again. It's like, okay, I see how it's gonna go. Unlike what happened with you in that title, and we'll get into that later because I really want to talk about that. Considering it's NXT and stuff like that. The show opens with Gacy talking about the if you hadn't watched it, WWE put a digital exclusive of them kidnapping Braun Breaker, Gacy's crew.
Yeah.
It kind of had a feel of the Attitude Era storyline with Stephanie, where they kidnapped her and literally put her on that cross. You were going back and forth on Twitter with me and Anakin and stuff, and it really felt like I was looking at something they were reliving during the Attitude Era. Oh my God, they stole Breaker. Oh my God, they kidnapped him. Oh my God, they're gonna do something with him. It's like next thing you know, next week, Breaker on the cross. So I mean, on the freaking Undertaker cross, they're reaching. They're ever since Mark Calloway's gone now, it's just like they're looking for somebody to do that spot. And they hope DC can do that. It's like you're like a mesh between Bray Wyatt, NXT main roster, Bray Wyatt, and then on general just that. So it's weird to see them trying to push the same thing over and over again. And now it's years later and we're like, oh, I've seen this before. And it turns off the casual fan on top of that.
It's really like a mashup of a bunch of different spooky gimmicks. It's not really that great. Not a fan.
It literally is. It's ridiculous. It's getting to the point where we're just like, can we make it about the wrestling and not anything? I honestly wish tonight's show, the most interesting thing, there were a couple, but the most interesting to me was the whole Money in the Bank briefcase commercial and having Cody on it. That was the most interesting thing for the most part.
It's a nice commercial, though, I have to say.
Yeah, but the whole ending of that commercial is like, it kind of a wink at AEW with the whole thing about being in Vegas and the double or nothing or, cash your chips kind of line and stuff like that. I'm like,
no.
Oh, they had him read that whole line. Yeah, it almost like a dig, but it's that you had the breakout tournament start off, Nikita Lyons' match was pretty decent, but you already some of these matches, like with Fallon and Nikita, you already knew what's going to happen with
Yeah.
who they're pushing and stuff.
Well, I didn't really know about the first one, but I like Fallon. She's cool. It was
She's
obvious
always
that
with Briggs
people
and
were winning.
Jensen too.
Yes, Briggs, not, but Jensen, I'm cool with Jensen.
But it's just the match was just like there. It was like you're watching it and you're like, okay, this is great. There's just a couple. This is very sound, and it just felt like a filler match. I thought the most interesting match and the surprising match out of all of it was the mixed tag match, considering how one of the guys at Chase U came out of Soraya,
Oh,
like gimmick with the
that was
pigtails. That
this
was the
moment.
interesting part.
This moment was my moment of the night. I really enjoyed that a lot.
I thought it was funny. It's like She-Hulk, but just like and like incredibly funny and quirky. All of a sudden, he comes out with blonde hair, and there's the black hair, just like Soraya was. Uh, what do you think of this Tiffany Stratton Waller pairing, though?
I'm not even addressing it. Let's move on, please. It never happened. I don't want to talk about it. It's terrible. I'm not kidding. Let's just keep going.
Okay. But Soraya and Chase U win the match, anyways, with the roll up and stuff. For me, it's just entertaining to see Chase U in the ring, and it looks like they changed their colors for a night to what
No, that's
we're
why I loved
wearing,
it.
kind
I
of like.
loved, the entrance changes Saray, so naturally, if other people are walking out with her, it should change them too. So I thought it made sense. It looked great.
I thought it was funny. I thought it was funny because of the fact that it made things a lot more interesting. It's like she comes out, different ways. Everybody should be changing it up. Um, Literally, like with go back to the whole Gacy thing. It's like, okay, so Soraya changes everything up, and Gacy's like monotone stuff like that. I even mentioned to you too, because the way it seems like NXT 2.0 is setting up for trios like AEW is. So like you have Gacy and the two druids in the back. You have El Gato del Fantasma. You have what they're calling themselves now, Tony, D'Angelo's crew, the family. So there's three teams right there for trios. I mean, it seems like they want to set this up big time because
Have the guys with Tony D wrestled yet? I
no,
haven't
not
watched
yet.
NXT for a few weeks, so I
No,
don't
they
know.
haven't yet. And the two druid guys, I thought literally because of the whole thing that was reported that some of these releases have 90 days in order to be reevaluated and stuff. I thought, Harland was basically in those spots because they're probably having him go crazy training like crazy.
You had mentioned that to me, and I did notice the guy to his left looked kind of like Harland-esque. So, I almost was like, oh, because I watched it on a delay, so I was like, oh, wait a minute, is this Harland? Because it had like kind of the shape of his body, like it kind of looked like his stature.
Yeah. It seemed weird.
Well, it's because it's not very good. That's pretty much why. Yeah, just like the first thing that he was doing, the inclusion stuff, I was fine with that. But this whole mashup of the spooky stuff, I'm not a fan of.
I mean, they showed pieces of the match too where he just flipped over the turnbuckle and it's just literally flipping upside down and stuff. It's just for me, it's fun to watch, but it's not that interesting to like deal with for the most part because it's like, okay, we get it. You want to be the creepy spooky guy that everybody's afraid of, that all the baby faces are doing. But think about it also, who is their number one heel in NXT right now? Von Wagner is probably number 3. Joe Gacy, which it should be too early to put the title on. He's their number 1 right now, so 1 or 2. So who's really the number 1 heel? Hayes is an in-betweener because he can play off either being the number 1 heel or be the number 1 face. And right now he's going back and forth depending on if it's Sikoa or Grimes. So it's just, Gacy's the only one that's, solidified really about it.
Right.
So, and D'Angelo right now is probably, fighting for that number 2 spot with, with Escobar. So it's like, what the hell are they doing?
I don't know. It seems like in the entirety of WWE, they don't really know a lot of what they're doing.
It's sad but true. It's just like you expect them to make on everything. The only thing good about certain things is that like the promos to get to the next part of these stories were pretty decent. The Diamond Mine one, where the Creed brothers
Is
were
Ivy
literally
Nile not in Dynamite Mine anymore?
No, she's in Diamond Mine. It's just that she literally was. They're trying to make show her that she's a lot better, a lot stronger than that she should be than the breakout tournament. I think if you're smart enough, you have Ivy Niles in the breakout tournament and go up against Nikita Lyons, and that would make sense. 2 powerhouses going after each other, but
Yeah.
they're not doing that. They have Lash on the other side of the bracket, so obviously they need somebody to go against Nikita and just
Hopefully not Lash again.
I mean, there's not really that many most great talent on that bracket that I've seen so far. But I'm just excited that the Creed brothers went up to Roderick and be like, "Hey, dude, this is not how we want it. This is in Roderick's praying like, oh, I'm the one who makes the decisions and stuff like that." And then he's like, "Well, we do it as a team," and he's like, "Not anymore." I'm like, wow. Someone is very, very, very upset right now.
Yeah.
And he's just, and they're playing off of that stuff.
I like that a lot, actually. Because the Creed brothers, they need to have some more to their characters, and I like this for them.
It makes them look good and look sorry. It makes Sean look like a punk for the most part. By the way, if you're watching this is 10:33 a.m. in Eastern time right now. So, it's just, I just know that for me, I'm hoping that they do well next week against the Viking Raiders. I mean, that match was really good.
It was.
Match was awesome. Yeah, it was very physical, very high impact. Not moveset, but just like literally, like it literally looked like 2 people literally going up in a prize fight and beating the crap out of each other. And I'm just excited to see that match again, but hopefully they do it right and keep Strong out of the way. But you never know. If things keep going the way it is, they're trying to shape him up to go to something like to the UK or something like that. I think he doesn't want to be on the main shore again. Yeah.
Oh. I never watched his match in the UK. Did you?
I didn't get to. I was gonna go back to, but I never had a chance to.
I thought, who was it against?
I think it was Dragunov.
Oh, it's probably a good match.
Probably a good match.
No,
usually always is a good match.
Dragunov's very good.
Oh, it always makes sense when you have something like him in a match where it pays off in the end.
Yeah. And he's the UK champion still, right?
Yeah, that I'm aware of, yes.
Maybe Roddy tries for the championship.
It could be. It'd be an interesting way because all these people are moving their way over. What do you think of the formerly known as Kylie Ray, Alpha Fire or Alpha Adelphia Fire or something like that.
Alba
It's
Fire, which you can always remember because of John Alba.
it's just these name changes. God, man. I mean, it.
Yeah, that one does not sound normal, if that's the right word. Sounds like a very contrived name. So
It's just, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, man. Like literally, I mean, she's the longest reigning UK women's champion. Yeah, even though that UK was shut down for a while because of COVID, she still was their longest reigning champion. So I
yeah,
think you should just give her the consideration and take it. But the presentation looked great. The whole fire thing on the screen was pretty nice,
I
and
liked it.
then
Yeah,
the steam and everything coming out in all black and having the like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. Yeah, that's an 80s and 90s reference there, my friend. Um, it, with the whole freaking Casey Jones setup where with the baseball bat and the freaking bat like a freaking sword, like freaking. Oh, I keep saying freaking, but it's true. It's just exciting to see something different other than freaking Drew McIntyre carrying a sword to the ring.
yeah.
I
Now it's
mean,
Lady Drew McIntyre carrying a sword to the ring.
except it's a baseball bat. It's like a wooden baseball bat, like a Louisville
Right.
Slugger.
Yeah.
It,
I thought
it's
I thought that video package for her was good. I liked the, obviously they're incorporating Fire because her last name is Fire. Uh, but I mean, gotta see. I guess this is one of those let it play out situations for now. Hasn't
I think
offended
it
me
was.
yet.
I think it was a really good match with them because of the fact that it showed, you know, Amari in a strong light, and on top of that, you're relaunching Kaylee Ray into a different persona. So it's like, okay, you're relaunching two cat people. One got hurt and the other one didn't. So, um, but the finish into the Gagoda bomb into, the Swanton, I'm like, okay. So they want her to be herself when she's wrestling, but they don't want her to finish the match with the one move that she won the UK title and was very successful with. That doesn't make any sense. There's no logic there.
I mean, one thing is, I don't think I wouldn't take this match as like this is how it's going to be. Sometimes it can get clunky. Sometimes they don't really know what they're doing yet. So I feel like I couldn't move past this and beyond, and see what happens next.
Well, hopefully it moves forward at a great pace because right now we're just like, why? It's weird saying this because I like NXT. I like the 2.0 stuff. Just they go all the. I'm gonna go on rant. Screw this. They have all these great episodes, shows after a while, and then all of a sudden they lay this big fat goose egg right there, like another way to say it. And I'm sorry about this. I host this show. I have to say it. It's like me going into Drew and saying, "Hey, Drew, here's these pile of bananas. These bananas are $1 million worth of things where you could make more money off of these $1 million of bananas." And you go in and open your crate to see if those are really $1 million worth of bananas, and there's $1 million worth of shit.
And there's $1 for the swear jar.
I'm gonna buy a ticker. Watch. By the way, she's asleep, Lily. Yes, there is a Lily in my house. She's awesome. But it's just why? Why change someone's name that's already very successful like that? Oh yeah, they did with Gunther. Why? Oh,
Yeah.
why are you gonna make somebody say their next in the next series of matches that they could just have solved it in a triple threat? Oh yeah, they already did that. Oh, wait a minute. Why are you're doing something with a guy who's very, very, great on the mic and everything, and making them all do all these great things and stuff like that, and do all the smoke and me? Oh yeah, the WWE already did that. You see the pattern here, people. It's the same thing over and over and over again,
That's kind
and
of the WWE thing to do, though, isn't it? Over and
and
over and over again.
and it's the definition of insanity. It's like, okay, I Gacy going after the title. Okay, that's fine. That makes sense. But you're doing stuff that previous people that who are very creative did. The Wyatt
I'm not sure
family
you'd have to go with
stuff. The Wyatt family stuff. Taker, all this stuff, the smoke and everything. Oh,
the
what? So the Soa Sokoa, like, dude is really good. And a lot of people have been saying he is main roster ready. I don't know what you think about that, but
Mm,
he should. Grimes should keep this title for a while. But at that last match before Sokoa, they decide to pull the trigger for Sokoa to go up, should be against Grimes. It shouldn't be with Hayes. Hayes should be moving over to where Gacy is, and he should be going after Breaker right now.
yeah, I don't understand why he isn't. That's very strange.
It just doesn't make any godforsaken sense. I mean, if you're going to plan to take Breaker up in SummerSlam's in August, so it's like we're about 3 months. I should know this because of a reason why. If you're going to do this in 3 months, and you're going to have to build this up for 3 months, why not start now, leave Sokoa and Grimes alone, and build up Hayes and Breaker and have that match at SummerSlam? And then after the night after SummerSlam, you can bring Breaker up. Why? Nope. You're going to keep Hayes on the mid card till you decide you're done with Breaker. Oh, here's Braun Breaker. He accidentally just popped up on Raw.
And Dolph Ziggler was involved, and where's Dolph Ziggler been since?
Probably touring during his comedy, making more money than he is in his comedy.
That is a good point.
It all leads up to basically the same thing. Is like, it's a great to bring like the people who are doing stuff. The Viking Raiders, great. I love them being in NXT. It makes perfect sense.
Although honestly, out of Natalia, Dolph, and Viking Raiders, I would say the Viking Raiders make the most sense out of the pairs, all of them, because they already have this like gimmicky thing, and NXT is very gimmicky. So I feel like they fit right in with NXT right now.
I think AJ fits right there in NXT right now, AJ Styles, just because you give him a title and it certifies that NXT title even more so now. But nope.
Yeah. I don't like the colorful title though. I do not like that.
I hate that god awful title. Bring back the old one.
Somebody
you're
should
very
bring back
picky.
the old one. Somebody should.
Where's Cody when you need him? Bringing back old school titles.
Put a white strap on it.
It's just, I don't understand why. Just if you're not using some of these talents to go forward, why are you doing it? It doesn't make any sense. I mean, a perfect example, the main event tonight. Let's go straight to that because of the fact that that's
Sure.
a perfect example of it. Cora Jade, no selling for a couple of minutes about the knee. There was one spot where she's running around and stuff like that. If you absolutely hurt your knee in your real life and hurt it really badly, you'd be hobbling while you're trying to run. Nope, zipping
That's
back and forth for a second. I'm like,
something that I noticed about her tonight was that
she has a lot of heart. I'll give you that.
She's very good at, what was that?
She has a lot of heart. I'll give you that.
She does. I think that her selling pain, not physically, is really good. Like her, like she sounds like she is hurting. I did notice, like you said, though, there are some parts where it's like, okay, you're selling that pain through verbal, but you're not doing it physically, really. So that is definitely something that they need to work on.
And then the whole thing of the passing out. I was telling you that I think the last time I can remember was the Austin and Brett match, where Austin passed out from all the blood. He never tapped.
Right.
And they tried playing this out, but if you listen to the audio and you drown everybody out, it sounded like she was saying, she's hurting me too much.
Yeah, that's what I heard too.
So it's just, keep saying it's just, and then it's the show tonight wasn't that great. I was trying to be
No.
honest with myself, but it's like, come on, man.
I was hoping all right, come on, you can come up. Let me help you. My cat, who decided he wants to be a part of the show this evening, who's also, kind of limping at the moment, but doing better. So hopefully I don't have to go to the vet and pay money. Sorry. I cut you off. Keep going. What were you
No,
saying?
we were talking about the whole thing about no selling.
Yeah. Yeah, I heard her say that, and it I feel like that now that I'm thinking back on it, because then Natalia and Cora end up hugging in the end. I almost feel like maybe that was the plan, because Natalia specifically says to the referee, "Did she tap? Did she tap?" And the referee is saying, "No, she didn't tap, obviously." I mean, they can't say that she tapped. It's literally on camera. She didn't tap. She just like faded out a little bit. Um, and then, like you had said, maybe the hug was a sign of respect from Natalia to Cora, which kind of, I mean, to be honest, doesn't really make sense because as Cora, I wouldn't want respect from Natalia. I just want to beat her ass. And um and Natalia, like, why does Natalia care? She won the match. Her whole thing was coming in and beating up Cora Jade. So, she didn't tap to the sharpshooter. Now she gets your respect. It was a very strange ending, I have to say. It came out of nowhere, really, but not in a good way. It looked like it was a botch. It looked like something happened. But then, if that was the plan, I don't think it was a good plan.
It almost seemed like, okay, they're going into it. They had ideas. Hurt knee. Cora trying to do the sharpshooter. Didn't work out. It's like, okay, that made sense. You're trying to make Natty embarrass Natty after being embarrassed for so many times. It's just, that's perfectly fine. I just wish that they would have this match a lot more in depth. It took a good chunk of time too, which is great because it gave people a lot more things to watch. I just thought that with Cora, if they're going to put Cora over, the hurt angle was not the great idea to do it. If you're going to put somebody over in my thing, you have them win the match
Definitively.
and
Yeah.
then get beaten down and then come back afterwards. Not the whole, oh, I'm hurt, and then all of a sudden you pass out and then you get a hug. It's like, it doesn't show you're putting people over. If you're using NXT as a springboard to build people instead of destroy people,
That wasn't the
I
right way to do
mean,
it.
and this is going to segue into the one thing of destroying people. The whole thing with Indy feels
Oh, God.
so bad for her. You
Oh, yeah.
think of it, look at it this way, right? And this is the interesting. If you guys want to have anything, leave the comments, join the chat. We're always here listening. On top of that, go to BodySlam.net. Check out everything they do. Donates, give them a slam chat, and just go there and just have some fun. Help out the site. So many great things Cass and everybody does. It's just so bad because she's lost everybody. It's like everybody she's worked with is gone.
Yeah.
Johnny and Candace, gone. Dexter Dexter and Persia gone. You don't see Duke Hudson in the last 2 weeks on TV
Oh, really?
that much.
Didn't they? I
I
think like 2
remember
weeks
if.
ago, 2 weeks or
Yeah,
3 weeks ago. Well, like right after the week after the cuts, didn't
yeah,
they have a moment together?
yeah, and they looked at each other like, and now they're playing off like Dexter left her,
That
and
is bullshit. I'm sorry. That's so dumb because he clearly loved her. Like that was the whole thing. And then all of a sudden, oh, we're cutting him, and now we're making it like he just left her. That was really stupid.
I know, right? It just never made any. They don't make any sense at all. So I mean, pretty much it. Mostly, some of this stuff was just like you're shaking your head and trying to understand it, and the rest of it was not that great at all. So
What else happened on the show? I feel like I remember something else happening that I wanted to talk about. Um, yeah, the Legado del Fantasma Tony D stuff is interesting. It's like
it's
a,
like
a
you ever see
weird
that?
mob movie type of a
It's like
thing
the
that's not as good as a mob
Godfather.
movie.
It's like the Godfather in that. Well, it's on Netflix. It used to be a USA show about you know a woman running a drug cartel. I can't remember the name of it.
Yes, I know what you're talking about. I don't remember the
Yeah,
name.
it's like both of them meshed into it, and there's NXT's version of it. It's just like two different factions. That's why I was talking about trios because it's like it's these two factions fighting over stuff. I
Yeah,
wouldn't be
I
surprised.
did notice there are more like men three, except for Toxic Attraction. God help us all. Uh, it did yeah, like there's Gacy and the Druids, and then there's Tony D and the family, and Legado del Fantasma, um, Diamond Mine. Uh, am I forgetting somebody? I don't think so. I think that's it. Um, it does. There could potentially be like some sort of a trios thing there. You're right.
And the other thing also is that one other match happened too. It it basically got Roxy into it because she's in
Oh,
the Breakout Star, but
yes.
also Wendy Chu, and now they're sending up Wendy Chu against Mandy Rose. It's like, come on. And everybody's like, I can't believe how great Wendy Chu is. She's always been awesome. It's just the fact that people don't pay attention.
Yeah, I really like her. I this was the first time that I saw Roxanne Perez, and I like her too. I thought her um and my Chu actually weren't a bad pair.
I know it'd be fun to have them come out, Roxy turn around instead of being in that like gear, like the regular gear, like a lot of people have. Comes out the same way Wendy does, and they
Yeah,
bring her as a tag team, and they're basically like. Here is a good example. You ever have a kid when you're a kid? You ever heard of a thing called a glowworm, like a
yes,
toy?
yes.
Like yeah, you can just picture both of them just like coming out as like literally in like Wendy does when she goes in ring and all that stuff. But they open up and then instead of the glowworms, their faces lit up like like the glowworm.
That'd be
The whole
interesting.
all the noises of the sleeping and stuff, and then it just goes in. Yeah, it's something overdue. They have to have somebody who's credible for Mandy and Toxic Attraction to go after, and there really isn't. I mean, name like five people who are already established going in there. They're trying to build people up right now, but there's not really anybody back. That's why I was saying I wouldn't be surprised if they send Alexa down here and there just to give Mandy an actual opponent to go after.
I heard a rumor about that. I don't know if that was confirmed that like or if like Alexa said something on
She
Twitter. I
said
don't know.
that on she said, and I pointed this out, and I've been asking around, is that there are people who were watching the 2K22 scrum for the WWE thing where they had them like a red carpet kind of thing. And she mentioned in an interview, I can't remember where, that she said she would love to go down to NXT to face Mandy for the NXT title because that's the one title she does not have in her
Oh,
case.
okay. That's where that came from.
And it would be smart because there's no, who are you going to line up? Let's say their next major show's in about 2 months, for example, just to shoot some date out, whatever, before a SummerSlam. Who on that roster are you going to put against Mandy? I don't think Cora's ready.
Cora was like kind of there before Stand and Deliver, but then they started this Natalia thing. So, I mean, because she was kind of like feuding with Toxic Attraction, right? That's what I remember. Maybe they build up Roxanne Perez.
They're trying to build up Wendy right now in order to be credible because that's how bad their lineup is for
Wendy,
certain things on there. And I don't think she's ready just yet.
I just don't feel it with Wendy right now. I mean, I like her, not like I don't like her. Obviously, I do, like we said. But her the champion right now, I'm not feeling that.
There's not really many people you could say, yeah, sure. Tiffany Stratton, not even close, not in the ballpark.
Don't even want to talk about her.
Nikita Lyons is
well,
going to be there sooner because of everything.
Honestly, it's probably going to end up being Nikita Lyons.
Which it wouldn't be a bad thing. It's just if they are going to do something and pull a trigger to switch to make Toxic Attraction go up to the main roster, at some point they're better off letting Alexa hold that title. Yeah, they're better off Alexa holding that title for a short time until they figure out who they're going to put it on.
It's probably going to be Nikita.
Pretty much that's NXT for the most part. I mean, we're a little rusty. It's been a couple of weeks and stuff like that. So, there's been a question out there. Drew asked me about the whole thing of, and segue because Sokoa might be a part of this, is that he asked me to take should the title with Rock and Roman be a part of it? Shouldn't, because everybody's been an uproar on that.
Today,
I put it this way, and if you're gonna leave a comment on this and give your opinion on it too. I think the title should matter, but I think it should matter in a way where it puts Roman over and gives him the title back for a little while, just to give him a break if he wants.
Well, apparently the rumored break that he was going to have from like mid-June to Labor Day weekend or whenever it was like a 10-week stretch. Apparently, according to Sean Ross Sapp and Andrew Zarian, is not the case. So that's a good sign, at least, because if both of those titles were gone for 10 weeks, wow, would that be not great viewing. And as is, even with both titles, it's not the greatest viewing either. But yeah, so go ahead, give your opinion on the titles.
I think it should be a part of it, and I think it should be done in a way where it sets up a huge thing for Roman at Mania next year in LA. And everybody's like, well, what are you going to mean? Money in the Bank's in Vegas. They have a habit of doing crazy shenanigans at Money in the Bank. They gave, I called it one time and said Otis would win the Money in the Bank briefcase. Guess what? That happened. I mean, they've done so many crazy things with these briefcases. Why not add another one? So you have your 5 participants in there, and then all of a sudden, electrical failure, the lights go out, the money in the briefcase is gone. All the wrestlers are pointing at each other. You took it, you took it, you took it, you took it, but nobody's going to cop out anything. So the mystery goes from July all the way till January with a hooded figure, because they did the hacker gimmick. Remember, everybody, you got to remember this, where the person in the black hoodie and all that stuff holding the briefcase, all black clothes and everything, steps out of the shadows lightly with their head saying, with the voice changer and saying, I'll see you at the Royal Rumble, and then walks right out and with the briefcase. Royal Rumble turns around, lights go out completely, everybody's screaming, going crazy, and then there's a spotlight on Roman after winning a title defense. Roman completely gassed out, and then all of a sudden the hooded figure is in there with Roman, drops the briefcase, throws all his clothes up, and there's The Rock cashing in the Money in the Bank briefcase. Rock wins the title. It's the one last title he could get in WWE, because bar none, the Universal title was never around at that point.
Of course.
So Rock holds on to that title, pulls a Brock, because you still got to remember, as much as we hate that, it fuels the fire that, you know, Roman could say, look, I'm here all day, I'm the head of the table, I'm this. It makes Roman more dangerous if him not having it than having it. Because honestly, if he is great as he is now, think about how dangerous Roman will be if he's chasing after something that's not his at that moment.
That is interesting. I told you off camera. I told you that was actually an interesting way to do it that I hadn't thought of before, because a lot of people, you know, like the discourse today was
Oh, there's more
basically
to it, but yeah.
It started from Louis Dangor, who, you know, he has hits and misses on Twitter, and I actually, you know, today he said Roman and Rock should have the title, with obviously Roman having the title. And it made me think, like, I kind of agree with that, because I used to be somebody that wasn't pro that match having a title, but if not for, see, like the thing that you said, the idea that you laid out, I feel like that makes sense, but without the title, Roman Reigns shouldn't be calling himself the head of the table.
No, but it's one of those things where his paranoia, the mental aspect of him, he's so used to, you know, I'm this, I have to be this. This is like, you know, it's like a person who needs to, like he says, acknowledge me. He craves the attention he wants. And now that there's somebody who's bigger than he is overall, and they're looking at him, the way you could put it is after The Rock wins it, they could put it at, look at like all the footage of them, like they'd used for the Young Rock TV show and stuff. You do all this stuff and point out.
Acknowledge me, the little Joe Noy.
And the thing about it is, you point out that you might be the head of the table, but I'm the head of the Samoan dynasty. So they get everybody out there in the Samoan dynasty the night before SmackDown going to Mania.
I have a flaw with that, but go ahead, finish.
You get everybody who's available that can get there, right? Rikishi, you know, all of them basically. You have Sikoa there and stuff, and at the end of them, their family are all lined up right there in front to stop Rock to go into Roman, and Roman's playing the chicken heel shit, laughing about this stuff. And then as soon as Rock steps with that, he drops the title and steps, everybody in that family shifts in parts. And the only 4 people in there are standing there are the Usos, Sikoa, and Naomi. And they move sideways. So it's just a beeline between both of them. It's the head of the dynasty versus the proverbial head of the table to prove who is the best of the best. And at Mania, you put Roman over and give him that acknowledgement that he absolutely craves, is like that psychotic breakdown he has, because he's like, I crave it, I need it. You know, the whole island of relevancy and stuff like that. And Roman goes over and wins, and he now can say, I am the head of the table, but I'm not also the head of the table. I'm also the head of the dynasty. And then just
Okay, so
Let Rock go into sunset.
here's my flaw with that. The head of the table is the head of the dynasty. That's the point of the table in that, is that at the table he is the head. He is the tribal chief of the Samoan family, because if you've looked back and like how this really started, when he started feuding with the Usos before they joined him, the whole thing with him and Jay at the time was that he needs the Universal Championship because that signifies him as the head of the table.
But the point I'm getting at is there's a different at the head of the table. But the whole time in the beginning of this whole thing about the whole head of the table thing, they were saying our head of the table, the head of our family table. I'm the one who puts money in your pocket. Da da da. He's pointing out their family table. He's the head of their family table. Rock can be considered as the head of the dynasty. There's nobody that's had a career like Rock's in that family. Let's be honest and let's be real about this. Raw, and this is going to be a hot take too, with both of this stuff for me.
Yeah.
Rock to me is the head of the Samoan dynasty. There's nobody that's won so many championships. There's not many, but somebody who's done so much he's done outside in pop culture and everything. He is the head of the Samoan dynasty. Point blank, period. Roman is young enough, but get it, but he's the head of their family table. Because there's different dynasty sections in that family, different dynasties overall.
I guess. I just never saw it that way. I always saw the head of the table moniker as the head of the dynasty, because he has been, and like I like more the idea that, while I do think that the money in the bank idea that you had is interesting, I do like more, because of how the story's been for the past 2 years, I like more that instead of Rock coming back, it's Roman bringing Rock back by calling him out or burying him, or, like, I feel like that's what makes more sense, because what a lot of the discourse was today on Twitter was that, Roman loses the title before Rock is involved. And why would Rock bother? That would just be like a young, like I said on Twitter, it's like a young douchebag just being a Twitter troll to him, barking like a sore loser, like, oh, I lost a title and I'm still calling myself the head of the table. But the whole story with Roman has been that the title is his his legacy. So for him to call himself the head of anything without the title, I feel like it doesn't make sense for this character, because he is so title driven. That's really how it's been for him for the last 2 years. He wanted Brock's title. He got Brock's title. He wanted the Usos to get the tag team titles. The Usos got the tag team titles. And if you even factor that in, the titles make it, even the Usos having the tag titles kind of gives him that mindset even more, because the people under him are representing just as he is. And because they have the titles. Now, again, this is a little bit flawed because, well, why did he rip up the contract that said that they were going to unify the other titles when he said that he wanted them to have the other titles too? But they'll rectify that soon when they do the actual unification match. I don't know why they didn't do it at WrestleMania Backlash, but that's neither here nor there. Roman, in his mind, is the head of the table, I mean, he even had the family come out. I don't remember what pay-per-view that was. When he retained the title, I think against Jay, if it was against
Yeah,
Jay, and put the family lay on him. Like they presented it
Aka
as
and
like
Sika. Yeah,
they presented it as like this guy runs the family. He is the mob boss. He is the godfather. You know, like that's how I have always attributed Roman's character. And remember almost a full year ago, in a couple of days, I showed up on the Wicked Crazy podcast
oh
with
yeah.
that thing back there. And I proclaimed myself as the Wicked Crazy Pinfall's head of the table and all that, all that mush. Um, I did that. I could have just came on the show and be like, "Oh, well, I'm claiming myself as the head of the Wicked Crazy titles, the Wicked Crazy Pinfalls table." I bought the title, not for that reason, obviously. I bought the title because it was my 30th birthday and I wanted to get a championship, and that was my favorite championship at the time. But the reason why I incorporated the title into my gimmick was because Roman is so title driven. Because that's how I've always seen him. He needs to have the championship. He has employed essentially the Usos to interfere in all of his matches to make sure that he holds that championship.
Yeah,
So
it's
it
almost
makes
like
sense. It
he
makes sense for
subconsciously is
him to
like
be the one.
egomaniacal.
It makes sense for him to have the title, to go to The Rock and be like, I'm having the most dominant run of my career, and you ain't shit, basically. Yeah, you do your Hollywood and you do your movies, but I am the king of the mountain. I am the one who is the head of this dynasty for real. You think Hollywood is your thing. That's nice. You packed up your bags and you left us. He could even say that. You left us. You're not even part of the family anymore. You're some Hollywood hotshot. I've got the titles. I have done something that you've never been able to do. And that goads Rock to coming back and trying to put the young guy in his place. They have the match at WrestleMania. And of course, The Rock falls because why the fuck would The Rock go over? The whole point of this, and that was like the other thing too on Twitter. Like people are saying, oh, if the title is involved, you know who's winning. You should know who's winning regardless of whether there's a title involved because
Uh-huh.
Roman should be the winner regardless. If there's a title or if there isn't a title, Roman should be winning. Rock should not
But
be winning that match.
but I think using the money to break to get to that point and have Rock have the titles and have the Rock say, "We're not done. I need to prove to you all the stuff you have." And what you're saying is like,
I don't mind the Money in the Bank idea. I think that's actually a decent idea. I just don't think that the head of the table stuff should be involved in that because Roman should not be calling himself the head of the table if he doesn't have the title because holding the title makes him the head of the table according to so many promos that he's cut in this incredible run. The title, like somebody had said to me on Twitter, the title, it's not about the title, it's about being the head of the family. But all of those promos, especially the earlier ones, were I need to be the universal champion to provide for this family. So it is about the title. That's why he wanted both titles, the WWE Championship and the Universal Championship, because he needs to be the top of WWE. As long as he is the top of WWE, he is the head of the table. So without the titles, he's not the head of the table. So there would be no point to have a Rock match because why would Rock bother? He would not call himself the head of the table if he lost the titles to somebody. He would just go crazy probably and try and get it back. I'm not saying that he shouldn't try and get it back, but that will be such a huge crush to his ego, because then everything that Jay and Jimmy were trying to do before they got on his side was try and tell him, look, you're the head of the table. You're good. We're good. This doesn't have to be about the championships. Remember, Jimmy Uso returned in that match to stop the match for Jay because he was pummeling Jay.
Yeah.
And it's not about the title for them at the back then when they weren't on his side. They just wanted to be a family. They didn't care about the title. But now, as a unit, they care about the titles because they know that having the titles mean that they are the top of WWE, which is why they want to do the unification match as well. So that was my whole deal on it. It felt weird that, like, and, I love Shawn and Will Washington. Somebody else was going against Louis on that too. I don't remember who it was. But I don't know how people don't see that, because it's so clear from the way Roman's moves have been since 2 years ago. The title is what makes him the head of the table. If he doesn't have that title, he is not the head of the table.
But we'll get into this. So there's kind of a dilemma. I know this is BodySlam, but this deals with, the Roundtable broadcast, those guys over there, and the Wicked Crazy Pinfalls champion. Backlash happened. Drew and Shane, the champion, tied. So in order to rectify, to have an undisputed champion, we are running it back at Double or Nothing. But here's the interesting part. I have asked a guest of the Wicked Crazy Pinfalls that has a huge following. He's very respectable, very great, Mr. Dennis Farrell, and he's agreed to represent Wicked Crazy Pinfalls in predictions, considering, well, let's be honest, he never got a title chance in the tournament, and he dropped out because of certain things that was going on that was going through at the time. And it's up to the Roundtable podcast champion, Bad Blood. So let's find out tomorrow. Go check out BodySlam's post show for AEW tomorrow with Chemical Julian, and you also got the champion Bad Blood. I'm interested to see if they say yes to that proposal, having that. And at Double or Nothing, it will be official. Shane Husky will run it back again against Drew Nicholas, and this time the picks will be in, and also we're adding stuff to.
We will have a winner.
Yeah, there will be an undisputed winner. We are going to add pinfalls, submissions, DQs, specialty matches, and all these stuff, because they do have that casino battle royal kind of thing going on over there. But we're gonna wrap it up. It's getting late. I know NXT was probably $100 worth of bananas, so to speak.
I would put it, if I had to put it at I used to work for Cage Side Seats. I used to grade WWE shows, the main roster shows, Raw, SmackDown, and the pay-per-views. I would give NXT 2.0 a grade of, I'll say, C tonight.
Yeah. No comment. Drew, tell them where they can find you.
You can find me right here at Big Money Drew on Twitter And eventually I'll be back on Fightful Overbooked. We've been, Joel had a new kid, really happy for him. Congratulations to him. And we did hit some misses over there. So from WrestleMania to a couple of weeks after, he wasn't able to do the show, completely understandably, of course. And but then I got COVID, so I couldn't do the show. We'll see this weekend. I'm doubting that it's going to happen. Maybe we'll start again next weekend. Because I do miss doing that with him. I enjoyed doing that show. But for now, I get to podcast with you, and yeah, this is nice. I get to live out my Roman Reigns fantasy booking and talk the few parts of NXT that I enjoyed this evening. Most of it I did not. Hence this. Well, maybe I'll have to give it a C minus, to be honest with you. I'll keep it the C. I'll keep it right down the middle.
Other than that, Thursday night, Wicked Crazy Pinfalls. We're getting closer to 2 years. We've got some great people coming up on there too. One of them, I've got a confirmation of yes. I'm going to reach out to another one. Hopefully, I can reach out to this person and see if I can get a yes.
Of Wicked Crazy Pinfalls and the 1 year of the head of the table of Wicked Crazy Pinfalls.
I know, right? How insane is that? Got so many great things. We have something planned, something special planned from Bad Blood that he's going to be doing. Rob Wilkins is going to be doing something special for us.
Oh, nice.
We've got Rob and a bunch of other people coming in and stuff. I'm going to try to reach back as far as I can to see if I can get people. I might message some people from in the past. I see if they're available to come on and pop on. I've asked a few others. I have asked some new people to come on. I'm going to see if I can reach out to one of the people I've had on recently. So fingers crossed. Hopefully I can plan this out right. Other than that, you'll see some random streams, youtube.com/throwback27 and 978 on the Twitch at the end. Go give it a like and subscribe. Go subscribe to this show. Give it a thumbs up. Tap the bells for notification. Kick up that algorithm and help out everybody else. You've got so much good content. You have the Roundtable podcast. You have the Jabronis. You've got stuff that deals with Impact, ROH. There's so much great things on here. So go support the BodySlam.net. Go donate on Slam Chats. You got the Roundtable guys tomorrow night. I'm waiting, Drew, to see what those two boys decide. If they say yes or if they say no. The ball's in your court, guys. Us at Wicked Crazy will be just chilling, watching. Have a good night, guys.